Hey guys, welcome to today's video blog, and today we're going to talk about a concept that you may be familiar with in a different form, but the word we're going to talk about today is incantations. And I learned this from my mentor Tony Robbins, which of course many of you probably know who Tony Robbins is. But the word you probably know, not incantations, but is affirmations. I'm sure you've heard of that. Affirmations are, you look at things that are positive, and then you either say them to yourself in your head or you say them out loud. So, I am a happy person, I am a grateful person, I love life. Whatever you're trying to affirm, because a language, what we say to ourselves, what we focus on, is a big part of how we feel in a given moment. So affirmations are powerful. But what I learned from Tony is that if you think about it, if you have information, which technically a saying there is information, right? You got something there and you're saying it over and you're learning it. But information without emotion is forgotten. That's why if you ever go to an event like his, or if you've ever been to a sales event or a sporting event or whatever, why do you remember those moments? I mean, the best example is, do you remember where you were on 9/11, the moment that terrible day happened? Of course, why do you remember? Do you remember where you were, on February 21st of this year without really thinking about it? No. Why? Because February 21st for most people was just a regular day where you went through your routine and you can't remember anything different. September 11th, 2001 was a day that there was emotion attached to this information that you learned, and now it's stored in you forever. So what am I getting at? What we want to do is we want to take those sayings that we want to take what we want to bring into our life, and not just say them, we want to do them. Because it's all about emotion attached to information, like I said. So I'm sure you've also heard the studies where, the basketball player takes 100 shots a day for 30 days, the other one doesn't do any practice, and then one person just sits there and visualizes themselves making the shot every time, 100 shots a day for 30 days, and of course the third person wins almost every time, of course of equal skill level. Now, I think that if there was a fourth category, the fourth person would win, and that fourth category is a person who visualized themselves hitting those free throws, but they're doing it. What I mean by that is they go to a free throw line, or they make up in their head the free throw line, and they do their motion, and they just practice the motion, and in their head they got their eyes closed and they practice it going in. So not only are they visualizing it, but they're also doing the act of making it happen. For me, when I'm trying to practice getting better at speaking, or, getting better at, making an entrance onto a stage or something like that, I literally do it. I'm here and I literally picture a group of people out there, and I'm coming out to talk to them, and I picture that, and I actually do my speech. So now all of a sudden I'm visualizing the environment in my head, but I'm also doing it, and now there's an emotion attached to the words that I'm saying. So when I actually were to go out on stage and give a speech, or if I were to, again, like the basketball analogy, all of a sudden, maybe it's the first time I'm really giving a speech in front of all these people, but I'm not going to have that I'll be excited and nervous, but I'm not going to have that same level of nervousness if I had never done it before and didn't know how it was going to go, because I'd never practiced it with that emotion and actually gone through it. And that's why sometimes, this definitely happened to me in the past, but if you've ever had a situation where, whether it was, going to approach someone of the opposite sex and talk to them, or if it was, public speaking, or some situation where someone says to you, oh, it's really not that big deal, public speaking isn't scary, going to ask that girl out isn't scary, or going to ask that guy out isn't scary, in your head, you probably know intellectually that that's true. But in your nervous system, because what you've pictured in your head and what you've attached emotion to is, I'm going to get rejected, I'm going to make a fool of myself on stage, and that thought attached with emotion is what comes through. And even if you have that positive thought of, the speech is going to be fine, the girl's going to say yes, the guy's going to say yes, or even if they say no, they're going to be nice, that emotion attached to that original thought outweighs this new thought that's just in your head. Does that make sense? So how do you change that? You change that by literally visualizing what you want, but actually do it. Don't hesitate. One of the things, one last thing I'll tell you, from being at a lot of Tony Robbins events is, people go to those events And you know, a lot of the people that go are people that are in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're wonderful people, but life has kind of beat them down. You know, they've been raising their kids and jobs and all this stuff, and they get, you know, most people get into a routine where they just do the same thing every day, and life is not bad, but it's not great. But over a course of, like, say, 4 days, like Tony's UPW, Unleash the Power Within event, what happens? You give new language, because he's helping you create new language. You're dancing and singing and all this stuff, and so you're attaching emotion to the learning. But then the other thing you're doing is you're not hesitating. He puts you in an environment where you're going up to absolute strangers. Instead of hesitating, you're giving them a hug, you're giving them a high five, you're sharing a story with them, and all of a sudden, this excitement, this juice in your life. And he also uses some you know, profanities, language, not because, you know, you should do that in every situation, but so many of us are so conditioned to just say good, okay, whatever. And then all of a sudden someone starts swearing and saying something, all of a sudden it catches your attention, and then you're moving around, you're not hesitating, you're going up to people, you're making things happen. Now all of a sudden you got that emotion attached to this education of this new idea, and you're not hesitating. You can come off an event like that on fire and go make changes in your life. But you might not be at an event right now, you're just listening to me rant here. But just to wrap up, what you got to do is on your own be able to do that, and also go to some events, but at the same time in your own environment be able to do that. Like I said, if I got a speech coming up, or even if I don't, and I know that at some point in the future I'm going to want to do that, I practice myself coming out on stage, what I'm going to say. I picture the people out there. I speak with enthusiasm. I don't say, like, I just go over, read my you know, notes of what I want to say when I'm out there. I literally do it with the same emotion as if all the people are there. And if you start doing that for the things that are important to your life, you'll see that change in your nervous system, the emotion that you have attached to some ideas that hold you back. And in a short order, you'll see things will change for you. And that was for me with walking up to people, public speaking, all those things I mentioned. So I hope that helps you. Do your incantations. Say what you want to be in your life, and then go do it as you're saying it. So hope that helps. Go out there, live the movie, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for tomorrow's blog.